Today we're going to celebrate the creation of our honor wall, which will commemorate those who have contributed greatly to the creation and continuation of our beautiful golf and tennis club. My name's Steve Jenzik. I'm president of the board of directors of York Golf and Tennis, and it's my honor to again welcome you all here today. The planning for the course, according to John Bardwell's book, can be traced to a meeting of several gentlemen at the York Harbor Reading Room on August 30th, 1990, 123 years ago. And we have one of the finest gems in the whole state of Maine, and it's through the efforts of folks that we're going to honor today and many, many more who have helped create what we actually have. So the honor wall is going to take the place of continuing to establish different memorial sites all over the course, and some of the leading courses in the country have an honor wall. I'd like to thank the honor wall committee, chaired by Peter Estes. Paula Dargan was a member of that. Paula, thank you, and Bernie Lontine was also on it. Bernie couldn't be with us today. The criteria to become a new member on that honor wall was voted on by the board of directors, and it's as follows. You have to be a member of the club for 10 years or an employee for 10 years. The professional staff can be nominated after their retirement. The nominees have to have made an extraordinary and historic impact on the club through their vision, dedication, and work for the benefit of the York Golf and Tennis clubs. So it's a pretty high bar. Folks that we're going to honor today have met that. Honorees that we're adding to the wall. All those who already had existing plaques scattered throughout the course or around the clubhouse grounds have been added to the honor wall as well. Those folks who are on that wall are really certainly deserving, and I applaud them for all their efforts over the many years. I thank the family of the members who are no longer with us for being here, as well as the family of the members who are actually being inducted today as well. So I'm going to read through the list of the honor wall honorees in the order that they appear, going from left to right. The first member honored is Thomas Nelson Page. Mr. Page was the chairman of the committee that established the York Country Club in 1900. He also was one who advocated for increasing the size of the original club from 9 to 18 holes. The next gentleman is Frank Marshall. Mr. Marshall was one of the original members of the committee that formed the club, and he was the leader of the negotiations with Mr. Junkins and Bragdon, whose farms were originally purchased and formed the basis of the course. He was the first clerk of the York Country Club, and he held that position for over 50 years. He was also the owner of the Marshall House in York Harbor, whose guests actually helped support the club during its early years. William Grant. Mr. Grant served as assistant treasurer for 53 years, starting in the very earliest days of the club. He also served as caddy master, and in his spare time early in spring would help the grounds crew prepare the course for the summer. He was also instrumental in helping to find the financing to keep the club going during difficult times. If anyone who's read Mr. Bardwell's book, there were tough times during the two world wars and some of the times in between. Fergus Reed Jr., Mr. Reed's family I know is here. Mr. Reed was a long-time York Country Club board member. During World War II, he headed a special committee that eventually led to the formation of York Golf and Tennis Club, a separate entity from the York Country Club. That enabled local people to be admitted to membership for a fee. York Golf and Tennis Club was formed as a separate non-stock corporation that would also be able to lease land from York Country Club. During the war, he also donated equipment, such as one of the first power mowers that was used to help take care of the club. And I know he was also instrumental in helping finance the club's operations as well. William Wilson. Mr. Wilson was the second pro at York Country Club, following the sudden firing of Alex Ross. Alex Ross was the brother of Donald Ross, who had yet to design this section of the course. Alex had hit Mr. Page, who I mentioned earlier was the original president of the club, with an errant golf shot while Mr. Page was riding a horse. I imagine that was a horse trail coming down the first hole when it happened. Anyhow, Mr. Page was pretty enraged, and he gave Mr. Ross 10 minutes to clear the premises, and that was it. So Mr. Wilson actually had just arrived from Scotland and was hired in 1902 as the second pro. He also became head groundskeeper, so a lot of folks early on wore dual hats, as you'll see in the further stories. In his shop, he also handmade golf clubs, so it was pretty impressive, so he did all of that. He was the head golf pro here for 60 years, and as many of you probably know, the course was dedicated to him in 1952, and there's a plaque by the course dedicating the 18-hole course as the William Wilson Golf Course. Mr. Richard Tufts. Mr. Tufts was president of the Pinehurst Corporation, which had purchased the Marshall House from Mr. Marshall. They were contracted to run York Golf and Tennis Club, and he oversaw the building of this new clubhouse that we're in now. It was under his leadership that the club recovered greatly from the stresses put on it by World War II. So Mr. Tufts kind of brought the club out of World War II and set the foundation for what we actually have here today. Forbes Wilson. Forbes was the son of William Wilson, and he became pro succeeding his dad, and he had an existing plaque on the course.
I took a couple of lessons from William Wilson. I remember very well he told me about teaching his son Forbes how to play golf. He said that for the first year, he just had Forbes swing a club, and only in the second year did he put a golf ball in front of him. Forbes went on to win the amateur championship in the state of Maine.
That's great. The next pro, many of us here were honored to have him during our tenure here, was Dick McLeod. And Dick succeeded Forbes Wilson as pro in 1965 and was pro for over 30 years. He was a strong supporter of women's and junior golf. I'm sure Collar and some of the others have some great stories of Waller about Dick. Our next honoree is Mr. Frank Hancock. Frank was a longtime president of York Golf and Tennis Club. He was also active in a lot of civic and affairs at the hospital as well. And he's currently honored by a plaque on the fourth tee. It's between the 4th and 13th, if you can see it there. Try to clear it out a little bit. And I know Frank's family is here, so thanks for being here. A new honoree is Alva Sulloway. Alva was nominated last year as a deserving member on the honorary wall. He was a driving force behind the creation of York Golf and Tennis Club as being the manager of the property itself, following the sale of Pioneers Corporation. It was kind of left up, okay, now what do we do? Who's going to run the course? And Alva was secretary at that time, I think, of YCC, and helped put together the documents and reincorporate York Golf and Tennis Club as the managing entity for the golf course itself. He was really interested in making York Golf and Tennis Club available for locals to be able to play and have a role both not only in golf and tennis as well. And also served as club manager of the York Golf and Tennis Club for several years. Our next honoree is here, and that's great to see Sally Tufts-Flynn. She's been a long time member of York Golf and Tennis and was the daughter of Richard Tufts, who managed the club, as I mentioned earlier on. She was a driving force in promotion of women's golf here at York Golf and Tennis, and I know there are several members who benefited from her desire to make women be able to play on equal par with men here. Well, Sally, you certainly deserve the honor, so thank you for your work for York Golf and Tennis Club. Bob Todd. Bob was the longtime president of York Golf and Tennis Club and served as club manager for several years as well. During his management, the club became more stable financially, and our membership had increased. He is on an existing plaque located, I think, near the flagpole in several others. So most of us know Bob. Bob's still around, still plays. So great to honor him again by being on that. Our next honoree has some of his family members here as well, is Lucian Duvall. Lucian has a plaque as well on the grounds currently. He was a longtime superintendent as well as club manager. So again, wearing those dual hats creates a lot of difficulty for kind of keeping both of those jobs going. And we know how time-consuming one job is, never mind doing two of those. So thank you for being here, and it's great to honor your dad. Tommy Hutchins is our next honoree. Tommy has been president for many years of York Golf and Tennis Club. Another one who helped stabilize the financial background of the club and helped to grow the membership. Tommy, I don't know how many years you were president for, but 10 years. 10 years. So it's a long time. I'm a little tired after 3. I can't imagine 7 more. Our next honoree is Doug Hawkins. Doug was president of York Golf and Tennis Club for 9 years in 2 different terms. It was during most of the time when I've been a member of the club, and Doug recruited me for the board as well. It's the belief of members of the board as well as the membership as a whole that Doug really helped elevate the overall facilities here to levels never before seen at York Country Club or York Golf and Tennis Club. And most importantly, it's Doug who was the driving force in achieving the sale of land from York Country Club to York Golf and Tennis. So for that, we thank you, Doug. Great job. Our next honoree is another pro that is thought of very fondly here, in Kyle Page, and Kyle couldn't make it today. Kyle succeeded Dick McLeod as head pro and served in that capacity for over 20 years. And Kyle was a mentor, I know, to many of us who are out there golfing today. He was a great guy and a gentleman. And I think that he gave Mike a start here as well. Mike was able to succeed him, and I think we all wish him well and hope his health was better, that he could be up here with us. But I know he's been enjoying his time down in the Carolinas. Lisa Wilcock is our next honoree. Lisa kind of reestablished tennis as an important feature at York Golf and Tennis Club. As was alluded to earlier, had been struggling for many, many years. She really increased the women's and children's programs at the tennis club there, and she served as head pro for over 30 years, retiring over a year ago. The championship courts 1 and 2 are dedicated in her honor, and that memorial there will last. Lisa really built that club up and has made it, the tennis program up, and has really made it what it is today. And to her we owe a debt of gratitude. Milton, Carol, and Peterson. They were longtime members here, and they really helped promote junior golf during their time here. But most importantly, I think I remember them for their help on helping to beautify the course here. They were personally responsible for improving our vistas of the river from many holes on the course itself. And so Milton, Carol, and Peterson are being added to our honor wall. Charlie Steedman. Charlie's been a member of both York Country Club and York Golf and Tennis Club. And it was he who the board really believed worked tirelessly for the sale of the York Country Club property to York Golf and Tennis over the years. And by doing that, he ensured that it would be ever kept as a golf course or recreational facility. And to Charlie, we owe a lot of our debt of gratitude for your work. It's not gone unnoticed, and we're honored to have you as a member of the honorees here at the club. William Baker. Bill was the president at the time of the land sale and transfer. There were others who were president before, and as anybody knows, trying to move a large group of people with disparate interests in one direction and one common goal is nearly impossible. And it was a daunting task. Others had tried but just couldn't get it up over the hill and get it to completion. But Bill, as president of York Country Club, helped to make sure that it actually did occur and the deal was able to be consummated. So Bill, we appreciate your leadership in making it happen. And with gratitude, love to have you on our honor wall as well. Our last honoree doesn't have a name on the plaque when you go down and take a look at it, and that's by his choice, John LaPre. John was honored with a stone on the course, and as you know, John is a tireless worker for the club, makes a lot of things happen, and I remember one day coming by just this past year, and there was a wedding getting ready to happen at the club, and John was out there mowing the grass to make sure the grass was set for the ceremony that was about to happen in another hour or so. Anyhow, John's been course superintendent for over the last 30 years, and I think he's probably directly responsible for the playing conditions that we have out there today. All right, that really concludes the formal part. And in the future, that plaque, will probably be filled up. There's only slots for a couple more names on there. And we'll have another plaque just like it to the side of it, and then add more names as they go along. So there is a process for those who are members to nominate folks. You can just contact Sean. He can give you the copy of the criteria. You write a letter to the board stating why somebody should be honored. The board is going to vote on those towards the end of the year. I think it's the October, November meeting. And then those folks will be honored the following year with their names being brought on the plaque in a ceremony. So it's not a closed end. We could continue to hopefully have a lot of folks doing great work here and continuing to make this a beautiful place to play and recreate. So thanks for coming out today. Thanks to all the honorees and their families. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.